Well, very. We got to get more of them.
Yeah.
You know, because he's proved here early in the season that one, he can make them, and the guys are looking for him more. And you know, there's got to be a balance, obviously, because he's so good inside. And I think we're seeing a lot of growth. I thought the Michigan game, he had watched a lot of film going into that game with Wagner, and I think he really saw how he's got to run the floor. And he ran the floor and he posted as well as he's done since he's been here. And that's what Tom does. He just takes it all in and he learns. And so we got to get consistent with that, of how he runs the court and how he posts. But then have a balance to it, to where if he's at the trail big, to be able to get him the ball and shoot some trail threes as well. You know, that's something that, you know, for the last 3 years with him has never even been an option, and now it's not just an option, it's something that we want. So it's great having a 7'1" guy that can expand your offense that far out.
Are you comfortable with the other two bigs shooting threes? Their percentages have not been as good.
Well, Alex in particular has made shots. Alex, I think his percentage was a little bit better. He had a tough night at Michigan. It was his first road game, you know, in, 2 years. Same with Prince. And then we got 3 guys that had never played a road game. So not so much worried about Alex. Gigi has obviously been a senior. That's something that through his development we had hoped that the three-point line would be a weapon for him. I think it still can be, but he's got to do much more inside that three-point arc now, I think. He can drive the ball. He's got good stuff inside, because there hasn't been any proof, as you mentioned, of being able to knock that thing down consistently. So I don't think that I want that to be his go-to. Not that I'm eliminating it, because I think we got to get more threes up. But he's got to be very choosy in what ones he takes.
The 3 games left before Pac-12 play starts, where would you say you guys are at in terms of where you want to be?
Well, I really like where we're at, because I didn't know, you know, we're looking at, November, if I remember right, around November 10th. Things changed for us around November 8th. We'd had 5 weeks of doing it one way, and then one day hits us, and we go from 11 in that rotation to 8. Now, since then, Alec Wolf has been somebody I think we've got confidence can bring him off the bench and do some things for us. And Ike has made a lot of strides in that time as well. So, you know, I do think we can go 10 deep when we need to. But then it's also trying to figure out, in those 8, 5 of them didn't play last year. So it's getting a lot of experience. And I thought we did some good enough things against Georgia Tech to get that one done, and there wasn't any more distractions anywhere in the country than what we'd had. So for our guys to get that win and then go to Kansas City and get a split against 2 sound teams in Wisconsin and Creighton, and then really go to Michigan, you know, who just won at Texas. They've already got a very good resume. We lead for 35 of those minutes at Michigan. So very, very pleased. You know, we finished against Wisconsin. We finished against some home games here that were some tight games. We didn't finish in the Michigan game. And I think some of that has to do with we're playing in front of our first road game, true road game. The neutral games are never 10,000 people against you like it was at Michigan. So that's different for a lot of our guys, and I think we'll be better equipped next time we go out on the road. But I also think we got a little bit tired. I thought we got wore down. I thought that, and that's a concern going against Cincinnati, who prides themselves on doing that to their opponent. So we've got to find ways of getting Tom a little bit more rest, and in particular Aaron. You know, I can't be playing Aaron 38, 39 minutes. We've got to figure out to where we can get him to 34, 35. I think it'll be much, much more efficient that way.
Following up on that, is the conduct review done?
No, it's not. It's not done, but we've heard the process is nearing end, and my hope is that we'll hear something. We're towards the end of the week now, if not the end of this week, by early next week.
Is it going to coincide with the end of the quarter? Is that how it's?
That I have no idea. I don't know on the coincidence of dates, because I haven't had anything to do with any of the interviewing process or who's doing the interview or any of that kind of stuff. So I think it's just the timetable, the individuals that's involved from the student council versus the players themselves going through it with their schedules. But I know both Jalen and Cody are done. They completed all their finals and paperwork by Monday evening or first of Tuesday, so they're done.
You mentioned you would have input on the decision. Have you already talked to the people?
Well, I don't have input on. I'm not going to have any input on what comes out of the council. Once it comes out of the council, then there'll be input, from the council to, I'm sure, the chancellor, to Dan, third floor, whomever those individuals might be involved, and then obviously me being a basketball coach of just what we do moving forward, depending on what comes out of that. The decisions are made with the council. So I don't have input until that's cleared. Once that's cleared, then I'll have my input on what I think's best.
What would that be like for you guys to finally know what you're dealing with probably this week? How much of that?
Well, I think it's just one more of those distractions that we get behind us. And again, the guys in the locker room have had nothing to do with any of it, and that's why I'm very pleased with where we're at. Getting back to your question of where we at, our 9 games that we've had a game canceled, we've had immense travel, we've had all kinds of distractions that you usually don't get second week in December. And so this young team's had to deal with a lot, and yet they're 7-2 and playing well. Even the 2 games we lost, we didn't defend very well against Creighton. Now, since the Creighton game, our defense has taken a huge hike, and we've gotten a lot better. And we just wore down against Michigan and didn't close it. So a lot of those things I like. It's just hopefully we can get this last piece behind us, and then we know exactly what's happening. We're going to know, where Cody and Jalen are, of just what happens with this year's team, what their availability is going to be, if any. But whether it's practice, whatever that may be, just getting them back engaged, because they've been separated from the team for quite some time. So I think just getting some resolution there will be good.
The Ball brothers have officially signed. Can you kind of characterize the Ball era at UCLA with all 3 now?
Well, I really had one. Lonzo obviously was terrific. The time that I got Coach Lonzo was incredible. Very respectful young man, somebody that didn't miss class, didn't, on court, off court, was incredible. Became a good leader by the time it was all over with. Knew what you were going to get out of him, made people around him better. Knew he was one and done probably the day he stepped on campus, and never acted that way. You didn't see an entitlement. You didn't see anything that sometimes you see in kids like that. So he was a complete joy to coach. Really enjoyed our entire time there, and obviously things have worked out well for him. Being able to stay locally has been great with him. So that I couldn't have asked for any more. It was a lot of fun, and very, very respectful young man that I appreciate. And then obviously the other 2 didn't really get to. When Jello was here, he was terrific. Through the summer, through his academics, through coaching him on the court, he was tremendous. I mean, he was late one time, and he came in frantic, apologizing, and took his responsibility of it. And so those are things you appreciate as a coach. So have no issues that way. And obviously with Jello and Mello, just wishing them the very best of luck. I hope things really work out well for them, and I hope, just like Lonzo, I hope they have terrific pro careers.
You said you hope things work out with them. What do you know about the Baltic League, and what do you think their prospects would be?
I have no idea about the Baltic League, or where that city is, or anything about it, so I have no idea.
You'd mentioned that UCLA had said that he needed to mention Trump. Do you have a reaction to that?
No, I had nothing to do with that, so I have no idea. I just put my statement together.
And on LaMelo, obviously a big recruit for you. Now that you could talk about him since he's signed, and no longer a recruit coming here, what does that mean for that future class? And would you consider that disappointment or whatever that you lose him for that?
Well, it's just the way it is. It's something that's happened, but it's 2019, 2020 class, so there's all kinds of time, So right now our whole attention is finishing the 18 class. We've got a great start to it with the 3 individuals that we signed in November. And we've got a lot of work to do now up until the signing period in April to conclude that class, because it's going to be back-to-back big classes, just like this last class was. So you're going to have back-to-back big classes. So even trying to project what the 2019 class is going to look like at this point is hard for a lot of reasons. One, the one and done. 2, on the table and looks like something's going to pass relatively soon is eliminate one and dones. So the 2019 class is going to take on a whole nother, once we figure that out, that'll probably be the first class. If things progress the way we think they are, that's probably going to be the first class that gets affected by what could be new policy